I'm going to share with you a really big lesson that came to me a few months back. Is when you have been functioning one way in life. So everybody's different, and we have different ways of seeing things and processing things. And what happens is when we have trained our brain to see and process the world in one way, what happens is we can't see all the different perspectives, we can't see the different ways. And in order to change that and to change your perception and how you process information, you have to bombard your mind with different viewpoints and different ways of seeing things. So for example, in the pain clinics that we have, I run with 2 physios. What we've noticed is when people come and see us, they've been in pain for a long time. So their whole life is around pain, it's around suffering, and it's around all the things that they've lost. And what happens when you're running from that perception is everything is about that it's hard work, getting out of pain is impossible, healing your body is too difficult. It's everything that pain has destroyed and taken away from you. I'm not the person I used to be. I've lost my identity. So what happens is you've put yourself in this, how can I describe it? You put yourself in this cube, and all you see is pain, and everything that you look at is pain. And it's the same with emotional pain as well. So say if you've been through a divorce, or you've been through a really challenging relationship, then all you can see is that. And when you become trapped in that postage stamp of information, it's difficult to rewire your subconscious mind, so to speak. So what I'm trying to say here is your conscious mind might say, I want to get out of this situation, I want to get out of this, I want to get out of that, I want my life to be different. But if your subconscious mind is programmed with that postage stamp of information, it will override everything that you do. The only way to rewire your subconscious mind to change how you process information is to bombard it with information that is going to serve you to grow and move forward. You have to bombard it. I learned this. When I look back on my journey, I bombarded my brain with that much information that it had to start seeing things differently. Okay? It had no choice, because I was giving it so many different points of view of different subjects and situations. I had no choice but to start creating new neural pathways and connections of seeing and perceiving the world differently. Hence why what I do works, is because I give you so much information and so many different ways of looking at things, but I don't tell you that my way is the right way. Okay? The reason why I don't tell you that is because you will take what I'm sharing, then you might listen to someone else and you'll take something what they're saying and you will find your own way. We're all uniquely different. We've had different experiences in life, and not one teacher is going to teach you everything. Okay? But on that, you've got to be careful who you listen to. Okay, you have to be really careful who you listen to. There's a lot of people out there that are teaching and preaching from their own viewpoint, which could have limiting beliefs, could have their projections of life. So for example, I had a teacher who said to me, it's really good what you're doing, Dawn. In fact, it's incredibly brave and amazing. And I'm like, I didn't think it was. I'm like, I'm doing this because I've been through it. I'm doing this because I know that there's no one out there that's doing what I'm doing. They're not helping people. They're letting people swim in this cesspool of pain for a long time, and they're not teaching them how to pull themselves out. Until one day something at breaking point and that person just goes, can't do it anymore. I'm either going to kill myself or I've got to get myself out of pain. That's generally how people come and seek me out. And the teacher turned around and said to me, you know that I've tried to do something similar to what you're doing right now. It won't work. People don't want to get out of pain. People don't want to change. So you're wasting your time. And if I'd have listened to that person, and this was a highly regarded person in their field, if I'd have listened to that person, I would not have persevered and set up pain clinics for these two physios. It took me 3 years to convince these guys that I was the real deal. If I'd have listened to that person, I would not have learned as much as I have about people in pain and myself and my own journey. And this is why I'm saying you have to be careful who you're listening to. You really have to be careful who you're listening to, okay? When you are on this journey of personal development and starting to get yourself in a place of deep understanding and learning about what's out there, you're very vulnerable. And a lot of people take advantage of that, okay? You're extremely vulnerable because imagine the first 7 years of your life, you're going back through that again. You're going into that fated brainwave of hypnosis. You're being hypnotized into a new way of thinking. And if you're not careful about the teachers that you listen to, you will end up taking on their limiting beliefs and thinking that they're yours and they're true. Okay? This is why I say, when I share stuff with you, it's not gospel. Okay? It's not gospel because it's my gospel. Yeah? It's my truth. It's my gospel. What I share with you is to open up your mind so you can go, you know what? At this moment in time, what Dawn is sharing with me really resonates. I get it. And it feels true. That's how you know if it's the right information for you at that time. Okay? Don't try and force yourself to remember things. This is what people do. They listen to personal development and they're writing these notes, writing everything down. I'm going to revisit that and I'm going to keep reading it until it's imprinted in my brain. That's the old paradigm of learning. It's not how it's meant to be. Okay? What's meant to happen is you listen to something and you take one thing away from it. One thing. And that one thing will change your life. It's about the depth of how you absorb information. It's not about the volume of it. Because when you learn a big volume of information, the chances of you implementing any of it is minimal because you become so overwhelmed by it all that you won't remember. Then you'll beat yourself up for not implementing it in your life. Then you'll go into this lull and then you'll go back to learning again. It's all about finding out what is resonating with me right in this moment, holding on to that information and embedding that information, and that is it. And that is why I'm asking you to listen to these recordings and keep listening and keep listening and keep listening. And the reason why is because one piece of information will stand out to you in the call. You'll embody it, you'll listen to it again, another piece of information will come, and it will be the most logical step. Because your brain has the ability to find the logical steps of what it needs. You just need to set the intention. That is it. Set the intention of what you want. And that starts with the end. So you might have heard in personal development, Jim Rohn, I believe he says, start with the end in mind. You start with the end in mind because that's what you're saying to your brain. I want this, and your brain goes, right, I'll work it out. You're not supposed to get involved in working it out. This is the illusion. And this is why most personal development that you do gets you nowhere, because they're bombarding you with information, but they're not telling you how to take that information on. So they bombard you with the information for two reasons. First reason, clever marketing strategy. If they overwhelm you, you will then need to buy the next course, 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 and you'll continue with them, okay? The second reason why they do it is because everybody's at different places. So it's not tailor-made for where you are right now. It's made for everybody at every circumstance, at every situation of where they're at. So it never really speaks to you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the whole purpose with personal development is you listen to it and you set the intention before you put the tape in, before you put the CD on, before you listen to the podcast, and you set the intention. I'm going to listen to this because at the moment I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. And I know that that perfect piece of information will come out of what I'm listening. And it will. You just got to train your brain, because it's a completely new way of thinking. Completely new way of thinking. And your subconscious mind is used to you just listening and going into this hypnotic state and just taking on information. But you need to train your brain to go, there is a reason why I'm listening to this. And the reason why I'm listening to this is because I want this outcome at the end. Now, it might not be that you get all the information that you need at that time. You might only get a snippet of it. And then you might listen to something else and it fills the gap for you. Or you might be in the shower and it just goes, and it all lines up and you go, oh, now I get it. We're all different, okay? We're all uniquely different and we process at different rates. So don't ever set the bar of yourself of what somebody else has done. This is why they say to you, don't compare yourself. Really important not to compare yourself. Really, really important, okay? I'm going to share with you number one reason why I say not to compare yourself. You have no idea what that other person has been through. And they have no idea what you've been through. No idea. So what's worked for them might work for the situation that they've been through. What's going to work for you might not be the same. And that's why I do these calls. This is why I don't do pre-recorded sessions. Be a lot easier for me to do that pre-recorded sessions and just put it out there and sell that. And I could sell it for the same price that I'm selling as doing live calls, but I don't, because you know what? What you need is different to what everybody else needs. So I do this so you can then afterwards, after the teaching, you can go, right, got it. But I have a question. In order for me to process what you said, there seems to be a bridge in the information that I need. And I will help you bridge that gap. Okay? So this is tailored to help you on your journey. However, if you're listening to it and you're listening to the recording and you listen to it enough times, you will find what you need for yourself and you'll be able to bridge that gap. Okay? But this is a shortcut. When you come onto these calls and you ask the information and I give it to you, it's a shortcut. That's pretty much what it is. But if you wire your brain right, you will get the information that you need at the perfect time. Does anybody have any questions so far about what I've shared? I know that we've got Joe's put a question here. How can you tell and be sure that you're listening to the right person? I think I kind of answered that. Are there any questions to ask that would help? Okay, the questions that you ask yourself is, am I ready to listen and receive the information? Okay, you might not be. Do I feel that this person is someone that I want to be like? If you don't want to be like that person, don't bloody listen to their information. Yeah? Because you're rewiring your brain to take on their information. If you don't want an element, and it's not about being completely that person, it's about if you want the element of skill set that you are learning from them and you want that, and it sits right with you, then listen to them. No point listening. Example, there was this, I can't remember his name, some personal development guy, Irv or something like that. I can't remember his name. Millionaire Mindset or something. And I bought it on Audible and I listened for about 20 minutes. I went, oh, good God, I can't listen to this guy. It's such the old paradigm, the masculine push, 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 push. I'm like, it's so against everything that I believe in. It's so against everything that sits right. And it felt painful listening. It felt hard work listening. It felt like it was a waste of time. That's a clue there. And it takes time to feel it at that level. At first, you might just feel it and you might be like, I'm not in the mood for listening. If you're not in the mood for listening, turn it off. If you're not in the mood for listening, it might just be that that person's not for you. It might not be the right timing to listen to that person. It shouldn't be painful. Yes. T. Harv Eker. Is that his name? Someone recommended it. Jesus Christ, it was fucking dreadful. It was awful. I was like, and the person that recommended it going, Dawn, you've got to listen to him. Just listen to him night and day. Listen to him. I went, I can't even listen for 20 minutes. There's no way on God's green earth I'm listening to him. And the reason why is because it went against my values. Remember that. When I work with people one-on-one, I help them unearth their values. And I'll share a little bit about that. When you know who you are and what you stand for, life is easier. Okay? When you know what you stand for, when something comes against what you stand for and it's the opposite of that, there's no decision to be made. I'll say that again. When you know what your values are and what you stand for, when something comes and you think it's a decision, there is no decision. Because if it goes against your values, the decision's already made. You just have to choose to know that your values are more important than anything else. That's it. It's not a decision, it's a choice. There's a difference. You're choosing, are my values important or are they not? That is it. The decision's already been made for you. Your values make all your decisions for you. You just have to know what your values are, and you have to completely be within integrity and sovereignty of yourself. Because if you're not, that's when life becomes confusing. That's when life becomes overwhelming. And this is what's going on right now at the moment with the coronavirus. Most people don't know what they stand for. They don't know who they are, so they just go with the masses because that's easier. Yeah. You have to know yourself deeply. And the way to know yourself deeply, unfortunately, for most humans is through suffering, because they don't spend enough time otherwise, because there's no urgency around it. You only create urgency around it when you're going through suffering. Yeah. Because we've been programmed that everything else is taken care of, and making a decision is actually a scary thing. Making decisions is, oh, I don't want to make a decision. Yeah, or being dissatisfied with your life, that's suffering. When you hate your life, that's suffering. And what people don't realize is pain is not just physical pain. When I talk about pain, I mean pain on all levels. There's pain being in a relationship that you don't want to be in. There's pain being a parent that you know you're just like your mother or your father, and you see that all of the patterns, you're seeing it in your kids' behavior, all of the patterns that you've projected onto your kids is now creating chaos in your family. There's pain in emotional pain. You don't like who you are. You don't like how you're showing up in the world. There's pain in that you've chosen a career that you despise, but you're too scared. There's pain that you're scared of financial situation. I'm scared that I can't pay my bills, and you're living in fear of it. There's so many levels of pain. Pain is so big, it's not just physical pain. If you're not waking up every day excited, you're in pain. You should be waking up excited about what's going ahead in the day, because you know what? You don't even know if you've got another day after that one. No one knows. So if you're not waking up excited, you've got pain in your life. Pain just means it's something uncomfortable. And physical pain is a body's way of communicating with you that it's not comfortable. Something is disturbing it. And there's a misconception of comfortable as well. We've created that comfort means that nothing changes and everything stays the same. That's the illusion. We've created that comfortable means everything stays the same. That's uncomfortable. We're not here to stay the same. We're here to grow. We're just that scared of growing because we've been indoctrinated at school that if you get the answer wrong, you're stupid. If you get the answer wrong, you're not getting it. If you get the answer wrong, there's some kind of consequence to it. So we become scared of learning. So then we create this paradigm that comfortable means if I stay safe and I don't play any kind of game and I just play it safe and I go to work and I just do what I need to do to get by, then I'm living a quality life and I'm living in comfort. You're not. You're not designed that way. You're designed to grow and learn continuously. constant growing. And this is why people end up in pain and suffering, because they're keeping stuff that doesn't serve them, and they're holding and gripping and holding on to it for dear life, because if it goes away, then who am I? So they hold on to it, and then the body goes, Jesus, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. So you know what? You're going to get pain. You're going to get disease. You're going to get cancer. You're going to get this. You're going to get that. Emotional pain. You're going to have depression. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have PTSD. You're going to have burnout. Because the body has to hold all this. You're not supposed to hold on to anything. You just take what you need in the moment, and then you let it go. You take what you need in the moment, and then you let it go. You're only supposed to look to the past to learn lessons of how not to do something in the present. That's it. You're not supposed to hold on to the memory of it, and you're not supposed to live by it. But when you come to a crossroad and you go, okay, the old way was completely against my values, and it didn't feel good, and it turned out like shit. This time I know who I am, and I know I don't want that, so I'm going to definitely go with my values. That's it. It's just to help you make a decision. That's it. That's all your past is for, is to help you make a decision. Did it serve me or didn't it? No, it didn't serve me last time, so you know what? I'm going to do it differently this time. This time I'm going to follow my values.